Hello and welcome. I'm Erika Liu, and here's what happened this week. People in Taiwan are set to get a $330 cash handout from the government. That's after the legislature passed an $18 billion special budget on Friday. Taiwan's cabinet first proposed the special budget back in April in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Taiwanese goods. The bill also included funding for defense, infrastructure, and social programs. The opposition-held legislature made several revisions to the draft bill, causing it to bounce back and forth between the two branches of government. The universal cash handouts are expected to start in early November. President Lai Ching-te has thanked military officials after the Navy wrapped up 5 days of exercises.
这是验证国军海空警戒、联合反封锁及战力重整等科目的重要演练。 也同时执行战损恢复、整补等任务，可以说非常重要。
The live fire drills, which started on Monday, simulated combat at sea against a Chinese fleet. It took place in the Taiwan Strait, where they practiced using aerial assets, laying sea mines, and simulating ship fires. It comes as China continues to intrude in waters around Taiwan as part of gray zone tactics meant to degrade the country's defensive capabilities. Between January and September of this year, Taiwan recorded more than 4,000 Chinese incursions into Air Defense Identification Zone. That includes multiple joint air and naval combat patrols. What exactly does that mean, and how can Taiwan better respond as Beijing ramps up its gray zone pressure? Alan Liu explains.
共军近来持续侵扰我国 ADIZ，
疑似比利时进，什么状况？
A Taiwanese drama that simulates a cross-strait war, vividly depicts what it might look like before a conflict breaks out. First, Chinese military aircraft swarmed Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. But this isn't just fiction. It's what Taiwan faces every day.
位于台湾西南空域，高度3000公尺的中共军机，注意，你已进入我空域，影响我飞行安全。
Starting in 2016, Taiwan's government began releasing data on Chinese aircraft and naval activity around the country. And in 2020, the Defense Ministry started publishing daily updates on that activity. That's because nearly every day, China's military, the People's Liberation Army, sent aircraft and vessels into Taiwan's ADIZ. Taiwan has logged more than 4,000 Chinese military aircraft entering its ADIZ in the first 9 months of 2025, hundreds more than during the same period last year. Experts say the Chinese military has shown an ability to sustain such a level of activity against Taiwan, particularly in logistics and maintenance. And it has a lot to do with the plummeting trust across the Taiwan Strait.
Beijing's perception of President Lai Ching-te's pro-independence stance has likely led Xi Jinping to abandon expectations of probably improved cross-strait relations or to deliberately apply continuous coercive measures against Taiwan.
The main reason is aircraft move quickly, and waiting until a hostile plane actually enters the country's official airspace could leave little time to respond. To address the risk, countries extended a buffer zone beyond their national airspace, and that's an ADIZ. Any aircraft passing through this zone should identify itself so that the country can determine whether it poses a threat. But an ADIZ carries no legal authority. It's meant to monitor and identify aircraft without interception.
事实上，在我们讲的这些属于公空领域部分的话，事实上是任何人都可以在这里自由航行的，这是航行的自由权。是，所以在这个地方，我们只能说对他提出一些预警警告，请他离开。
Taiwan's ADIZ, established in 1952 with the help of the U.S., covers an area of over 150,000 square nautical miles. Initially, the zone's boundaries included parts of China's airspace. After the addition of the medium line in the Taiwan Strait in 1955, Taiwan's main area of surveillance and defense has been to the east of that line.
While the originally drawn Air Defense Identification Zone covers a large portion of mainland China, today Taiwan's ADIZ functionally is only enforced east and south of the median line of the Taiwan Strait.
In August 2022, then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, marking the highest-level U.S. visit to the country in many years. China responded with live-fire drills. Nearly 450 Chinese aircraft flew into Taiwan's ADIZ in August 2022 alone, which remains the highest monthly total on record. Another spike in ADIZ incursions happened in April 2023, after then President Tsai Ing-wen met the U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in California. That month alone, Taiwan detected 259 Chinese military aircraft entering its ADIZ. All these have raised a critical question. With this large amount of military activity, would an ADIZ incursion ever turn into a war?
I don't think that ADIZ incursions alone are a road to a conflict. I do think that generally speaking, ADIZ incursions have created a very good cover for the PLA to have a sustained presence around Taiwan that I think has muddied the waters in terms of what does, for example, a pre-blockade or pre-invasion posture look like.
But Taiwan is not sitting idly by. One expert says Taiwan's monitoring capability in its ADIZ is strong overall. And in terms of radar coverage density, Taiwan could be among the best in the world.
因为我们的所谓的雷达密度，事实上在全世界来说，我们台湾真的是属于说，我看的我们这些的专业人员，他如何去从这个雷结琴里面去征收到共机的所有的动态，实际上是掌握的非常清楚的。
But simply monitoring isn't enough. Taiwan can also be more proactive in showcasing deterrence.
其实台湾也可以就是主动的就是派遣军机进行更多的巡逻来把你的这个空间 expand 就是合理的扩张出去。
Lastly, international cooperation may help to level the playing field to some degree or cool down the temperature.
You know, in terms what Washington can do, I think, would be to support Taiwan in acquiring capabilities that would allow them to maintain a good picture of the air domain around Taiwan without having to scramble their own aircraft constantly. I also think that the United States could, rhetorically push back on some of the major incursions that go on. They have in the past.
As China steps up military pressure in Taiwan's ADIZ, how Taiwan responds is more critical than ever. From boosting round-the-clock surveillance to deepening cooperation with international partners, Taipei must now move beyond concepts and turn plans into action. John Su and Ellen Lu for TaiwanPlus.
The death of an EVA Airways flight attendant has drawn national attention. She was hospitalized after working a long-haul flight while feeling unwell and died shortly afterward. The case has brought EVA's labor practices into the spotlight, and the company is now responding. Leslie Liao has more.
A week after one of its flight attendants died from suspected overwork, Taiwan's EVA Airways finally responds.
那事情发生到现在，外界有相当多的声音，也有很多的批评与指教，我们都听到，我们也虚心的接受。
A flight attendant surnamed Sun died in hospital in October after working a long-haul flight from Italy to Taiwan while feeling unwell. Sun's case has drawn national attention and has raised questions about labor practices within the airline industry. To critics, EVA's leave policies are punitive and harsh, with some saying crew members are discouraged from taking time off suddenly. Many speculate that Sun didn't ask for time off for fear of being punished and pushed herself too hard, ultimately killing her. Both EVA and the Labor Ministry launched investigations into Sun's death. EVA says that it's cooperating with authorities and will adjust their employee protocols to create a safer space for its workers.
目前因案调查期间，基于周延的考量，暂时无法详细说明。 待调查告一段落，公司会将调查结果执行后续。
Company reps say they aim to release a report within a week. But a union representing EVA flight attendants says that isn't enough.
你们到现在都搞不清楚状况，这件事情不是一个劳资争议，是有一个人他走了， 并不是因为工会抗议所以有人走了，是因为有一个人走了，所以台湾的空服员群群激愤。
They're leaving flowers outside of the EVA office in Taipei in Sun's memory, a symbol of their commitment to making sure this never happens again.
事情已经发生了，好好的、真诚的道歉，好好的去承认错误，有疏失，好好的去把它改进，有这么困难吗？
This is the first major statement EVA has made in response to Sun's death. While the company is expressing its regrets and its willingness to make changes, for many other airline workers, their words are a hard pill to swallow. Alex Tun and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
TSMC's operations in the U.S. state of Arizona are running into several speed bumps, from construction delays to cultural clashes. But as John Van Trieste reports, the company is pushing ahead with its ambitions to create a new center of production.
Taiwanese chip giant TSMC's Arizona plant is getting on its feet, turning a profit of $150 million in the first half of the year. But the project of making advanced chips in the U.S. has hit big speed bumps. And as both Taiwanese supply chain partners and TSMC's American staff are finding out, it's no simple task to move an operation that works well in Taiwan to the other side of the world. Cultural differences, especially around issues like working hours, have flared up. And staffing the fab has been a persistent problem, too. Some local workers who quit the fab filed a lawsuit alleging discrimination in favor of their East Asian colleagues, a claim that TSMC says is not true. But however you look at it, those in the chip industry say getting the Arizona fab properly staffed hasn't been easy.
人才的取得确实是个问题，因为如果我们要用本地的人，那公司也要有一些资格，才可以去 hire 本地的员工。那如果没有本地的员工，你要去从台湾派过来的人数会被限制。
Getting work visas for Taiwanese staff is proving to be a massive hurdle. Each now costs $100,000, and long wait times and a lottery system make things even more complicated. And once they're in the U.S., they have to pay both U.S. and Taiwan taxes on their income, something experts hope to see change.
If this Taiwan-U.S. double tax relief bill can actually pass, then it would be beneficial for just a whole variety of industries, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is R&D, wholesale, distribution, services, those are going to benefit.
While American staff may face culture shock in the workplace, Taiwanese staff and their families have their own troubles adjusting to daily life in an unfamiliar place. Children of staff have it especially tough.
我们这个学区目前还蛮多台积电的家庭来的，那有一些就是会选择中文项目的学校，有一些不会。那我觉得这几年观察下来的话，取决于他们小朋友的个性。就是有一些小朋友他比较内向，那可能他尽管在台湾可能已经在双语学校就读，但是他到美国之后的适应上面，其实还是蛮有限的。
For many, the relocation will be temporary. The proportion of Taiwanese staff is expected to go down as operations in Arizona mature. But for now, there's more to be done. A delayed second factory could be finished in the next 2 to 3 years. And just Thursday, TSMC chair and CEO C.C. Wei said the company has a new large piece of land for expansion. On top of the $65 billion TSMC has invested in Arizona, it's also promising $100 billion more for more fabs, 2 assembly plants, and an R&D center. Despite delays and cultural friction, the company isn't backing out of what it and the U.S. government see as an important expansion into the American Southwest. Klein Wang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Here's What Happened. Finally, let's end the show today with more images from Taipei Fashion Week. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.